Good evening, everyone. We are grateful that you could join us tonight for our second annual Justice Served event, or should I say our second annual online Justice Served event. We had really hoped we'd be able to see you in person this year, but we take safety very seriously and decided to keep things virtual for just one more year. We are so proud of what we've been able to accomplish since we met for Justice Served last September. We've grown in so many ways despite the challenges we've faced, increasing our funding and our staff to ensure we can meet the greater demand, particularly in areas like housing, where the need for our services is just surging. In Los Angeles and Orange counties, we've created new partnerships to defend against evictions and to keep people in their homes. Additionally, we continue to be an active partner in the Right to Counsel Coalition, a group of legal services and community-based organizations that have come together to protect the rights of tenants in Los Angeles County. Internally, we've taken the conversation that began last year in our program around issues of race, equity, diversity, and inclusion, and we've moved it forward. We spent several months with an outside facilitator and a working group comprised of staff from all across our organization to lay the groundwork for what we call our JEDI initiative: justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. The working group has identified the how and the why of our JEDI work, and from that, we've created a roadmap which has well positioned us to dive deeper into this process program-wide. It has been a really transformational experience, and it has certainly been eye-opening for all of us. We are looking forward to the next steps of what we know will be an ongoing evolution of this important work here at CLA SoCal. Like our shared organizational values, this work will inform how we interact with our colleagues and with our clients. So I really hope you will enjoy tonight's event. In our program, we're going to hear some inspirational words from the man I like to call the godfather of our program, Mr. Anthony Filer, the directing attorney of our Los Angeles offices. We'll also hear a powerful story of resilience from one of our family law clients and learn about the great work Pro Bono Partner of the Year, Troutman Pepper, has done for our clients through the Orange County Housing Justice Collaborative, a partnership that includes us, Public Law Center, and UC Irvine School of Law. Our board leadership and event co-chairs will also be joining us this evening. And I know that one of the fun parts of gathering at events like these is having the opportunity to catch up with each other. So I really encourage you to use the chat function in Zoom to make this event as interactive as possible. We're also going to be using the chat box to recognize those of you who make a donation during the program. So please consider making a gift to support our mission to help our neighbors fight injustice by providing compassionate, high-quality legal aid and advocating for stronger communities. Now, for those of you that stay with us after the program portion of the event concludes, we have an interactive and virtual adventure that I think you will find both challenging and a lot of fun. So get comfortable in your seats, pour yourselves a Justice is Our Jam, or any celebratory beverage of your choice, and enjoy the evening. I'm now pleased to turn it over to Anthony Filer. Anthony?
Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony Filer. I am the directing attorney of the Southeast LA offices for Community Legal Aid SoCal. And I've been tasked tonight with the responsibility of talking about what it's like to be a legal aid attorney. I hope that's because I have some knowledge of that, not just the fact that I've been here for 36 years as a legal aid attorney. Anytime I talk about myself, I have to talk about my parents and my upbringing in the city of Compton. My father was a city council person. He was a civil rights fighter. And he is the guy that some of you may know took the bar exam with not much success for 25 years and passed on his 48th attempt, during which time my brother and I both grew up, went to law school, and passed the bar exam before him. But the moral of that story was never give up on your dreams. And what my father did by doing that was he showed that perseverance has a reward. And he was laying a handprint for what you should do to help others. My mother was also a civil rights fighter. And she was, in addition to doing everything my father was doing with the civil rights movement, creating an after-school program with several neighbors that benefited our community for many years, as well as a piano player musician started a band among the local neighborhood for the kids because they were cutting out the music programs in the schools. But they always told me and my brothers, we have to give back to our community, to give a handprint for what we do and how we impact other people's lives. I got to do that as a legal aid attorney in my hometown of Compton. And so I'm going to start with my very first case as a legal aid attorney. I'm a brand new attorney, and we have a client come in, and the case was about her daughter. Her daughter had been taken away from her, unfortunately, by her ex-boyfriend, who she asked to take care of her daughter. She was 18 years old. That was her second child, and her mother told her she had to go to Job Corps. When she came back from Job Corps, the ex-boyfriend refused to give her daughter back, and in fact, filed a paternity lawsuit alleging he was the father of the little girl. That's when she came to legal aid, and that was going to be my first case. I interviewed her, talked to her, decided that I believed what she was saying, that he was not the father, and decided to defend her in a paternity case with the hopes that we would get a judgment that said he was not the father and have her daughter returned to her. Well, my first case, I'm not exactly sure about everything I'm doing, but I put everything I could into it. And eventually, after about a 4-month period, I did a motion for paternity testing, came back to exclude this guy as the father. So I thought I was going to win my first case. I was appearing before a very experienced family law judge downtown Los Angeles. And on my motion for summary judgment, which had a tentative ruling in my favor, the judge decided he's going to allow the plaintiff to do a amendment to his complaint and ask for paternity by estoppel. I wasn't sure what was going on, but I didn't think that was right. I did my research and found out that that was not correct. And so I did what John Lewis would often say, I decided to get in some good trouble. I filed an appeal on my very first case. So I did a writ. The appellate court ordered that judge to in fact give me a judgment that was the proper legal ruling and to in fact make a determination that he was not the father and to return my client's daughter. That was a handprint that I made in that person's life. But it didn't stop there. About 16 years later, they say, hey, Anthony, you have a client outside who wants to come in, a former client, and it's that first client. She has with her this beautiful, talented, 18-year-old young lady who's about to go to college. That was the 2-year-old from that case. There can be no better reward than that as a legal aid practitioner. And so that's a handprint for that mother, a handprint for that daughter. I was doing what my father told me and my brothers and sisters we had to do. I was leaving an impact on my community. Now, this is a little bit different, but I have to tell you a story that, my mom and dad are no longer with us, but my siblings, my brothers and sisters, gave me the awesome opportunity to design their headstones when they passed away. My dad passed away about 10 years ago, and so I made a headstone that said, a picture of my dad, and it said father, brother, grandfather, friend, mentor, councilman, attorney, and then I had a quote, never, ever give up. About 5 years later, when my mom passed, I designed her headstone as well, and had a picture of my mom, and it said mother, grandmother, aunt, friend, mentor, musician, piano player, and it also said in a quote, I'm going to start my band again. Now, I don't plan on going any place real soon, but my wife and my mother-in-law and my brothers and sisters are here with us tonight, and I want to put a bug in their ear. When the time does come, a picture of me, father, brother, uncle, friend, mentor, legal aid attorney, true believer, and not a quote from me, but a quote from one of my heroes, Martin Luther King. It's on my business card. It's on the t-shirts I make for my staff. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So if nothing else, I'd like to leave a message for you guys tonight. Contribute to, legal aid. If you're an attorney, maybe you want to do some pro bono. What you'll start to do is leave your handprint. Peace.
Thank you for sharing your story with us tonight, Anthony. That is quite an amazing family legacy that you are continuing with the work that you do here at CLA SoCal every day. You always give us such a huge boost of inspiration when you speak from the heart like you do. We are so fortunate and grateful to have you as a leader in our program. I would now like to introduce Alan Slater and May Sang, members of our board of directors and the co-chairs of tonight's event. They have generously stepped forward to give their time and effort throughout this year to make tonight's fundraiser a success.
Welcome, everyone, to the Community Legal Aid 2021 Justice Serve event. Thank you for joining us tonight and helping us fight injustice. My name is May Sang, and I'm the co-chair of the event along with Alan Slater. I'm also an intellectual property partner at Zipser, and right now I'm serving as the president-elect for Community Legal Aid. Before we get started, it's very important for me to thank and recognize our event committee members who play an important role to make it happen tonight. We have Mike Behrens, Yoshi Burns, Jared Bunker, Ralph Doe, Doug Davison, Blaine Evanson, John Capos, Jordan Mattel, Nikki Miliband, Teddy Nguyen, Scott Reeves, and Alex Shaw. I also want to give a special thanks to Emily Wang. Without her, this wouldn't happen. Before we started, I do want to take a moment to recognize and honor Lele Wing Ekbal, who sadly passed away earlier this year. We were so fortunate to have Lele as our board of directors from 2014 to 2020. Then she served as board president from 2017 to 2018 and co-chair our annual fundraising event for many years, including the 60th anniversary Comply With Us event in 2018. We've been so grateful to have someone like Lele as a friend and a steadfast supporter, and we will continue her legacy of advocating for justice. And now I turn it over to Alan.
Thank you, May, and welcome everybody to our annual event at Community Legal Aid SoCal. I'm Alan Slater, and it's really my honor to co-chair this event with May Sang. On behalf of our event committee and our entire board of directors, I would like to thank our sponsors for supporting our mission and all the work that we do in the community. This is a virtual event again this year, and we appreciate you attending. We were hoping to do this event in person, and we're still hoping that maybe next year we'll be able to welcome you all in person. It's now my pleasure to introduce our executive director, Kate Maher.
Thank you, Alan and May. We appreciate your work on behalf of this event and your commitment and tireless service on our board of directors. May, thank you so much for your moving tribute to Lele. I truly still cannot believe that she isn't with us tonight. As I said in my opening, throughout the past year and a half, our advocates have pressed on, serving clients, adjusting to working conditions in the courts and in our offices. Here tonight to share one of those stories with us are attorney Michael Waldron and his client Donna.
All right, Donna, thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us. We wanted to hear a testimonial from you about your experience with receiving legal services from Legal Aid, and just wanted to catch up. Honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen you. How are things going?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. And it's an honor, actually, you asking me to do this. I'm really grateful for everything that you have done and how you have helped change my family around. Um, I would say that it's been amazing ever since I got the restraining order for my son and myself. It's been a life changing for us. I actually started school. I was able to get my life on track. I was not stressed anymore. My son is more calm. He's actually doing better in school as well. And he's happy where he is. So I would say I'm very grateful for you for fighting for us in that courtroom and making things right. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. We need more people like you.
You're very welcome, Donna. I'm happy to hear that you guys are thriving right now. So why don't we start with discussing what your main concern was when you first came to Community Legal Aid SoCal for help?
Well, my main concern was I going to be one of the chosen ones to get help? You know, it was it was basically like a raffle. I know there's many people like me, you know, trying to get justice and help from attorneys to fight for them in court.
I definitely remember our first interaction together. You were grateful and anxious and excited, but scared. And,
yes. And sometimes there's times that you can't, even no matter how much you try and how much you do it for the children and try, the domestic violence, the verbal abuse, all that is still there. And sometimes us women need to be heard because sometimes we stay quiet and we put up with a lot of things from abusers because of reasons like this, of not being able to get help, not being able to be heard.
Another thing I remember about your case very vividly was how long it took you to get not just to me, but also through the door because of the pandemic.
Oh,
the courts had put a lot of hurdles in place to just get appointments for filings. Self-help didn't exist. Even when you went to court, it was just like essential people only. How did the restrictions put in place from the pandemic make the legal process more challenging for you?
So it was very challenging. Everything was restricted, going into the building, sending papers, getting them to the person, having to wait in line, doing all this. It was a big waste of time, but you know what? It was all worth it. It was all worth it. And it was a chance that I was willing to take to finally say, you know what? I think it's time. So I took that step and here I am now.
And can you share with us how you felt when you learned that you had been granted your restraining order and what did it mean to you?
Well, after 7 years of, I would say, going through so much with my son, myself, it was a very emotional moment. I was grateful. A lot of emotions were going. The first thing that I went through my head, it was just being thankful to God to put you in the way, you know, for you to help me and my son. And tears started coming out. I was in the courtroom. As soon as I heard those words, I felt that justice was served finally. And I was able to share my story and I was able to be heard. And I think a lot of people need that. So I'm very, very grateful. And it was a very life-changing for all of us. And I think we need more people like you to help us in this world.
So how has your life changed during this journey that you've taken with us? What has it meant for you? What has it meant for your son?
Oh, my son is amazing. He's great. He was diagnosed before with anxiety eating, depression. He had ADHD. He had nightmares. He was scared all the time. And it's been a year now since he have not seen his father, and my son since a restraining order. And he is doing great. His teachers congratulate me. Now my son is a different person. I'm a different person. I'm at peace. I'm not worried about something coming on my door, or, I feel peaceful in my life, very, very peaceful. And that's something that I didn't have for many, many, many years. Me personally, I feel like I probably speak for a lot of women out there. Sometimes we put up with a lot of things and a lot of hurt and pain and abuse, even if it's verbally, it's damaging. And so we need people to help us to be heard in those courtrooms, because without them, without you, we will never be heard.
I'm trying not to cry. It's so rare.
I'm so emotional. I'm like, I just have no words to explain how grateful I am, to have someone like that to help me, and I feel like there a lot of women needs to know that there is hope. There is hope.
Yeah. It's so rare that, I get to revisit with a client like a year after our services have ended. So, I'm always wondering and worrying about certain clients, especially how are they doing? How has this affected them? Have their lives been, materially improved because legal aid gave me the opportunity to assist them?
From the bottom of my heart, you make a difference. You make a difference in this world. And there's a lot of people like me who cannot afford it. And it makes a big difference. I'm still shocked and thankful and grateful, and so many things that you were able to help me in my worst moments. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Donna, for courageously sharing your story. And thank you, Michael, for your great work and advocacy on her behalf and on behalf of all of your clients. Throughout the pandemic, our advocates and our clients have benefited from the tremendous and generous participation and pro bono support from members of the private bar. A firm who has really stepped up and made an impact during these difficult times is Troutman Pepper. Tonight, we celebrate Troutman Pepper for their commitment to serving our clients through the Orange County Housing Justice Collaborative, a partnership between CLA SoCal, Public Law Center, and UC Irvine School of Law. This work is more important than ever before, as the number of housing clients we have served has tripled since the start of the pandemic. The pro bono work of Troutman Pepper's attorneys has expanded our ability to ensure that justice is served for the numerous members of our community who, facing evictions during this very challenging time, have turned to us for assistance.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Gibson. I'm a staff attorney at Community Legal Aid SoCal in our housing unit. I'm joined here by some very amazing attorneys at Troutman who've been volunteering with us in our OC Housing Justice Collaborative. This is a clinic that we have every Tuesday where volunteer attorneys at Troutman and other organizations come in and they help low-income clients file their answers in eviction cases. As we've seen with the pandemic, there's a huge need for housing attorneys and people who can help in these eviction cases. So we primarily work on their answers. And then the ultimate goal is to have the volunteer attorneys take on a case full representation like Troutman has in the past. So now I want to turn it over to some of the Troutman attorneys, and I'll just be asking them a few questions. So first of all, Lauren, why is pro bono so important to you personally, and for Troutman as a firm?
After going through law school and spending a few years in practice, you discover how how great it is to have the knowledge of being an attorney. But then on the other side, you realize that people who are not attorneys, how vulnerable they are when thrown in front of our legal system. And especially in this instance with eviction cases, the forms are overwhelming. The process is super fast, making it so important for people like us with the training and the know-how and the support with firms like Troutman to jump in and protect those who are vulnerable.
Great. Brian, what was so compelling to you about this particular project? What made you want to get involved?
Like Lauren said, it's very easy for landlords to take just advantage of tenants, and the code sections and the forms that you have to fill out are so complicated, and just to be able to get your feet wet with that, and then also with the support of the CLA attorneys, it's just been a great experience to get involved with that.
Thanks, Brian. For Cindy, can you describe your partnership with the attorneys at CLA SoCal on this project?
Sure. So it was really great because although we are all excited to participate in the clinic, sometimes we felt a little unprepared or not as knowledgeable as we would like to be. So it was great because all of the CLA attorneys were there for support, for guidance. They were on the Zoom call during the pandemic the entire time, so we can ask questions and seek advice so that we felt fully supported. And it made our experience a lot more enjoyable, as well as gave us the confidence to provide the best legal services that we could. So thanks, Jonathan.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. And for Whitney, what do you think are the most important outcomes of this project for community members?
Well, first and foremost, this whole clinic is about making sure that people who need services in eviction cases get those services in terms of keeping their housing. So the most important outcome is that we get to help these people come in and actually achieve that and be able to stay in their current apartment or wherever they are in their living situation.
Great, thank you. And back to Lauren, can you describe a particular case you worked on that was really meaningful to you?
Sure. So it was a couple months into the clinic, and this woman was the person I was assisting during the clinic, and she had 8 children and had been living in a home for quite a while. And the landlord was trying to use all the loopholes in the eviction law to evict her. And she was completely, distraught about the situation while trying to balance a brand new 4-month baby that she had and, trying to keep income coming in from different jobs. And she wasn't like completely the typical client. She had some knowledge of the court system from her prior work experience, and her like quick-wittedness and smart thinking really had kept her in her home up until she came to the clinic. And then we were able to take it that step farther and help her prepare the papers for a motion for summary judgment that we were able to prevail on and extend the time that allowed her to find a resolution to her housing situation along with her kids. And she was just so kind and so great to work with. It was kind of the dream client situation.
So this is for everyone, and we'll start with Lauren again. What would you say to others, maybe attorneys who are a little skittish about getting their feet wet? What would you tell them to help inspire them to get involved? Because there's a lot of need out there.
That's a great question. Jump in, especially with these projects through CLA. You will be well supported, and this is what we're trained for. It doesn't matter if you are a transaction attorney or if you're a litigator. Your basic civil procedure skills and statutory interpretation skills will get you there. It's a great way to serve, and you can do it. Just like I said, jump in.
Great, thanks, Lauren. Over to you, Brian.
Yeah, I would say it could be pretty daunting at first, but again, with the CLA attorneys right there helping you, you'll pick it up quickly.
Thanks, Brian. Cindy?
I've learned so much from the clinics, just every Tuesday going. And also I've built these connections with people in Orange County and through my Troutman office, just by working on these pro bono projects. So again, I would just echo Lauren's statement, just jump in.
Great. And Whitney?
Yeah, this is such a great cause, and all of the projects that CLA does, they're all great causes. But, I think for me, the thing that caught me the most after I started the clinic was just hearing sort of the relief in people's voices that we're helping. And, they're so grateful that there's somebody standing next to them and behind them to support. And that feeling alone is worth it.
Okay. Thanks, Whitney. And I just want to thank everyone at Troutman who's participated. There's more people than just the 4 here. You are all incredibly important. We couldn't do the work that we do and have the great outcomes with our clients without you. So please give us a call, get involved, and thanks again to everyone at Troutman.
We are truly grateful for Troutman Pepper's commitment to helping our clients and to Lauren for her incredible commitment as a board member. Your good work will literally keep our clients in house and home. I'd now like you to meet the president of our board of directors, Jared Bunker. Jared?
Good evening. My name is Jared Bunker. I'm currently serving as board president for CLA SoCal. On behalf of the entire board, I sincerely thank you for joining us this evening. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about our organization and our mission. I've been a part of CLA SoCal for many years. I feel honored to be a part of this group of smart, compassionate, and dedicated individuals. I can personally attest that the work they are doing is making a real difference in our communities, and they are constantly looking for ways to extend their reach to the most vulnerable. Please consider supporting our mission by making a donation right now. You can do so on the donation page of our website. We will include a link below and in the chat box. Gifts of $25, $50, or $100 provide so much. If you are able to donate more, please do so. Again, we will put a link below and in our chat box. Or feel free to visit the website directly. Thank you so much for your support. And stick around. Our amazing staff have put together a murder mystery activity for all of us to enjoy. I know you'll have some fun, and I know you'll meet some great people. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Jared, for your words and your leadership on our board. So this concludes the event program portion of our evening, and we'll say goodnight to some of you now. A big thank you to all of you for making the time to join us tonight. We are truly grateful for your presence this evening, your interest in our work, and of course, your support. We did want to give you a sneak peek of what we have to look forward to next year with the help of a little bit of movie magic. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will all be able to get together live and in person at the fabulous and historic Yost Theater. So mark your calendars for September 29th, 2022. If you've sponsored the event or purchased tickets for the virtual adventure portion of the evening, get ready. Now's your chance to chat with folks and get to know some new people, and we have quite a time in store for you. To join the adventure, just follow the instructions that you received via email prior to the event. Once you and your team have finished the adventure, if you make it out, our evening together will conclude. So enjoy yourselves, good luck, and thank you again for supporting Community Legal Aid SoCal.